Good afternoon, Your Honor. The Spanish interpreter is on the line.
Good morning. Actually, no, we are in afternoon. Good afternoon, Osceola. Can you hear us? I don't have any volume from you guys.
Good afternoon, Judge. We can hear you.
There we go. Counsel, I'm going to need your assistance again with the PD approved, because I don't have that information
Okay.
again today.
Sure, Judge. Javier Chavez on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. Would you be okay with setting some out of order, Judge? I believe these are individuals that might have some medical issues.
Can you give me a
call
list?
three?
Can you give me a list so that the clerks
I'll call them
can-
out.
Okay. What are their names?
Sure. Okay, first person is Luis Cassiano.
All right, the next one is?
Second one is Christopher Garofano.
All right, next one?
And the last one is Kevin Neff.
Appearance for the state, please.
Jennifer Garcia for the state.
Appearance for pretrial release.
Officer Pat Hill on behalf of PTR.
Sir, state your name and date of birth, please.
My name is Luis Cassiano. My birthday is 05/31/1990.
Thank you, sir. Counsel, has PD been approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on 2 charges. One is resisting arrest without violence. The other is possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $500, count 2 in the amount of $5,000. You're not to return to the scene. No contact with co-defendants. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And on 19 CF 2073, that bond will be revoked and set at 0.
Your Honor, he does have an additional case.
Oh, yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I've got 2 different forms on the
Okay.
cell.
Okay.
The next matter has 4 charges. There's possession of marijuana with intent to sell, introduction of contraband into detention facility, possession of marijuana over 20 grams, and possession or use of drug paraphernalia. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set as follows. On count 1, $150. Count 2, $2,500. Count 3, $150. Count 4, $100. Again, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Christopher Garofano. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Christopher Louis Garofano, 11/19/1983.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up for possession of controlled substance without a prescription and possession or use of drug paraphernalia. PD, have you been approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $2,500. Count 2 in the amount of $100. No return to the scene, no contact with co-defendants, and no alcohol, drugs, weapons, or firearms. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Kevin Neff. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Kevin Neff, 6/19/1974.
Thank you, sir. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up for 2 counts of failure to report Internet ID web page or application name. Court has reviewed the warrants. Do you find that there's sufficient probable cause? Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $1,500. On count 2 in the amount of $150. You're to comply with all reporting requirements. And on 18 CF 495, court will be doing an on-view violation and setting a 0 bond. On-view violation is CF 18 495, 0 bond. Yes, state position. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Maurice Avery. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Maurice Avery, September 14, 1994.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you've been picked up on 2 charges. There's battery, simple touch, or strike, and false imprisonment. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. PD, are you approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $1,500. Count 2 in the amount of $1,500. Sir, you're not to have any contact with the victim. No return except for one time with law enforcement to obtain personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And the court will not be taking any action on 19 MM 1933.
Thank you.
Michael Barrios. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Barrios, 2/27/89.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on 2 violations of probation warrants. One is in 19 CF 561. One is in 19 CF 3948. Sir, there is no bond on either of those. PD, are you approved on that?
He's going to be seeking the advice of a private attorney, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Miguel Bravo. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Miguel Bravo, 01/28/1995.
Thank you, sir. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on 3 charges. There's resisting arrest without violence, burglary of an unoccupied structure unarmed, and criminal mischief. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set on count 1 in the amount of $100. Count 2, $3,500. Count 3, $100. You're not to return to the scene. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Then we also have fleeing and eluding law enforcement with active lights. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $2,500. Again, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And then finally, 2 counts, burglary of occupied structure unarmed and resisting arrest without violence. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $5,000. On count 2 would be set in the amount of $500. You're not to return to the scene. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Frank Bittner.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Frank Bittner, 31 May 1951.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up on a violation of probation warrant in 06 CF 1841. Sir, there's no bond on that. Is PD approved on that case?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Donald Burkhalter. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Donald Burkhalter, 010872.
Thank you. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Sir, you've been picked up for battery, touch, or strike. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,500. You're to have absolutely no contact with the victim. No return. You can go one time with law enforcement to retrieve your personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. 19 CF5, court will be doing an on-view violation with a bond of 0. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Nicholas Gomez. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Nicholas Gomez, March 19th, 1996.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up on a couple of charges. You've got possession of controlled substance without a prescription, possession or use of drug paraphernalia, false name or ID by arrestee, and criminal mischief. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Is PD appointed?
He did not fill out a form, Judge. I think he might be representing himself pro se.
Thank you. Court does find that there's sufficient probable cause upon review of the charging affidavit. Bond will be set on count 1 in the amount of $2,500. Count 2, $100. Count 3, $1,000. Count 4, $150. You're not to have any contact with the co-defendants. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, no return to the scene. You can see that you're on probation for Seminole County, 19 MM 1684. Court will be doing an on-view violation with a 0 bond.
Your Honor,
Ma'am?
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am?
there is a violation of probation warrant out on that case already, and
Okay.
there is a detainer in place.
All right, then I won't take any action on it. Thank you, Ms. Hill.
You're welcome.
Oliver Grayson?
I believe he's bonded out, Judge.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, he's bonded out.
Howard Jones?
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Howard Jones, 11/22/93.
Thank you, sir. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up for petty theft. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. You're not to return to the Walmart.
Judge, can I be heard on this matter?
Yes, sir.
My client cannot afford the $500 bond. Would you consider doing pretrial release?
With 5 prior convictions in 2019, no, sir.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Lillian King. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Lillian Michelle King, 9/1965.
Thank you, ma'am. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Ma'am, you've been picked up for petty theft as a first offense. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. You're not to return to the Walmart.
Okay.
Thank you.
Judge, briefly, my client cannot afford the $500. Would you consider pretrial release on this case?
She doesn't qualify.
Thank you,
I can't
Judge.
take my
Thank you.
medicine.
Zaylin Leon Diaz. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please. I can't hear you.
Siley Leon, February 10/89.
Thank you. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Ma'am, you've been picked up for 2 counts. The first is aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. The second is tampering with second-degree felony proceeding. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $7,500. And count 2 will be set in the amount of $1,500. Pretrial release with the following conditions: no contact with the victim, no return. You can go back 1 time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Jose Lorenzo.
He bonded out, Judge.
Thank you. You bond on both cases?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not here, Judge, yeah. I believe he bonded out on both charges.
All right, just confirming. Brandon McCarthy. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Brandon Lee McCarthy, 12/16/96.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on a couple of charges. The first is assault aggravated with deadly weapon without intent to kill, armed burglary, no forced entry, burglary with assault or battery, no forced entry, battery, simple touch or strike, and criminal mischief. Is PD appointed?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Oh, you're right. Carrying a weapon concealed, resisting, obstructing without violence, and aggravated assault with deadly weapon. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set as follows. On count 1, $2,500. Count 2, $150. Count 3, $5,000. Count 4, $150. Count 5, $1,000. Count 6, $100. Count 7, $100. Count 8, $150. You're not to return to the scene. No contact with the victim. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat.
Your Honor, will you be taking action on the probation case?
Yes, in 16 CF 865, the unviewed violation, 0 bond. Thank you. Samuel Murillo. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Samuel Murillo, 4/12/1983.
Thank you, sir. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on possession of controlled substance without a prescription. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and no return to the scene. Thank you, sir. Jose Ramos. Is PD approved?
Jose Ramos,
Yes, Judge.
And your date of birth, sir?
9/18/1975.
Thank you, sir. You've got a couple of matters today. One is a warrant on a failure to appear for written promise in 19 MM 4103. There's a $2,000 bond on that. The second matter is possession or use of drug paraphernalia. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Jose Rodriguez. Is the interpreter for the victim or for the defendant or both?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The Spanish interpreter is on the line. Can you hear me?
I can, thank you.
Thank you.
We're not sure if it's defendant or victim, so, counsel, do you know who needs the interpreter?
The defendant does need.
Okay.
My client needs a Spanish interpreter, Judge.
I take it that means PD's approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, do you need the interpreter? Okay. They need, both of them need the interpreter, just so you know.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Buenas tardes, señor. Por favor, diga su nombre y su fecha de nacimiento.
José Rodríguez Rivera, 4 de mayo de 1994.
Jose A. Rodriguez Rivera, May 4th, 1994.
Thank you. Ma'am, can you state your name, please?
Señora, diga usted su nombre, por favor.
Heida Alejandra Rivera Carrero.
Heida Alejandra Rivera Carrero.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on a battery, touch, or strike. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause.
Señora, usted le detuvieron por una acusación de agresión física por haber tocado o golpeado a otra persona. Luego de leer el affidavit acusatorio, determinó que existe indicio de criminalidad para sustentar la acusación.
Ma'am, what would you like the court to consider before I move forward?
Señora, ¿qué quisiera usted que yo considere antes de proceder?
That's the first time I have a situation like that,
Ma'am, if
so
you're going to use the interpreter, you need to speak
I'm
Spanish.
sorry. Es la primera vez que tengo una situación como esta y en realidad lo que yo quiero es que ambos nos puedan ayudar y yo pues lo que quiero es velar por la seguridad de mi hija y la mía.
Well, it is the first time something like this happens, and what I really want is to get some help for the both of us and to make sure that both myself and my daughter are safe.
Is there anything further you'd like the court to consider?
¿Hay algo más que usted quiera explicar ante el juzgado?
Que quiero velar por la seguridad de mi hija y la mía porque temo que por haber llamado a la policía la situación se pueda poner peor de parte de él con coraje hacia mi persona.
To make sure that both myself and my daughter are safe, because I fear that because I called the police, things can get worse between the two of us and that he can express some rage towards us.
All right, well, ma'am, I will be issuing some items that he would need to comply with as part of his release. But if you have a concern about your safety, then you should perhaps go to the courthouse and seek an injunction. But that's up to you to do that, okay?
Señora, yo emitiré ciertas cosas junto con el mandato que establecen cosas que él no puede hacer si sale en libertad. Pero si a usted le preocupa su seguridad, tal vez sea conveniente que vaya al tribunal y presente una orden de alejamiento. Pero al final, la decisión es suya.
Ok, gracias.
Ok, thank you.
Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500.
Se fija fianza en cantidad de $1,500.
Of the following pretrial release conditions: no contact with the victim,
Se impondrán las siguientes condiciones a través del programa de la libertad provisional. Prohibición de contacto con la víctima.
Sir, no contact means no in-person contact.
Señor, la prohibición de contacto significa que no puede haber contacto en persona,
No third-party contact.
ni contacto a través de una tercera parte,
No social media contact.
ni a través de las redes sociales
No telephone contact.
o por teléfono.
No contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Ningún contacto de ningún tipo. ¿Usted entiende eso, señor?
Sí, muy claro.
Yes. Understood.
You're not to return to the home except one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items.
Usted no puede regresar a la casa, podrá regresar una única vez acompañado de las autoridades para recuperar sus pertenencias.
No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms.
Se le prohíbe el consumo de alcohol, drogas, la tenencia de armas y de armas de fuego y de municiones.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat.
Gracias, señor. Ya puede tomar asiento.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora.
Stephen Shirley.
He refused, Judge.
All right, well, he's got an out-of-county warrant for Seminole County with zero bond, so we'll let him know that he's there. Thank you. Juan Soto.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Juan Soto, September 1975.
Thank you, sir. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Sir, you've been picked up for driving while license suspended as a first offense. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Ms. Hill, why didn't this qualify for straight pretrial release?
It does qualify, Your Honor.
I just assumed that they would have released him before he got to this point, but I guess that assumption is incorrect.
Well, we were looking at doing that, but just because it's the weekend and the time frame that we have, and we
Okay.
just weren't able to.
All right, well, the court
But
will
he
do-
does qualify for direct.
The court will do a direct pretrial release then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zane Saeed.
And Your Honor, this one as well qualifies for direct.
Sir, state your name and date of birth, please.
Zane Zane, January 5th, 1993.
Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Sir, you've been picked up for driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs as a first offense. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. In light of the fact that you qualify for direct pretrial release, the court will grant that. You will need to report.
Thank you very
for-
much, Your Honor.
You will need to report for random drug tests. Thank you. You can
Yes,
have
Your
a
Honor.
seat. Bianca Trinidad. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Bianca Trinidad, 52894.
Thank you, ma'am. Is PD approved?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up for burglary with assault or battery. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $10,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim whatsoever. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you. You have a seat.
Judge, would you consider pretrial release or direct pretrial release on this case?
It doesn't qualify.
You don't qualify. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Jason Varela Salgado.
He's detoxing, Judge, so can we reset that for tomorrow?
Yes, sir. We'll reset for tomorrow. Is that all you have over there?
Gregory Williams is the last person, Judge. She's refused, so I'm not sure if you want to reset that for tomorrow.
Well, I don't have any paperwork on him, so we'll reset it for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
That's all we have here.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Appearances for the record?
Jennifer Garcia for the state.
Robert Williams with the Office of the Public Defender.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
No.
No? No, we need Giovanni Cuba.
Madam Clerk?
Ma'am, do you need the services of the interpreter as well? No? Okay, thank you. Madam Interpreter, are we going to try the headset or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Let me know when you've made contact, please.
Your Honor, the headset is working now.
Yay! Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Giovanni Cuba, 0504 de 76.
Giovanni Cuba, 050476.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, what is your name, please?
Vanessa Cuba.
Thank you. I don't see any information about PD on here.
We don't have no one to do the PD form, so we usually request to be appointed. Because we don't know what to fill out.
You're provisionally appointed, pending further order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, you've been picked up for domestic violence battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond is going to be set in the amount of $1,000. Ma'am, what would you like me to consider before moving forward?
It was nothing but a heated argument. I love my father so much. I just want him to come home.
No, I'm not going to be able to do that today. Sir, you're not to have any contact with victims Vanessa and Giselle's. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you. Is this Mr. Balthazar? He's going to need the headset if it is. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Ferrera Balthazar Gomez. Fecha de nacimiento es 20 de octubre de 1994.
Jabbar Balthazar Gomez, my date of birth is October 20th, 1994.
Thank you. PD will be provisionally approved pending application. Sir, you've been picked up for 2 charges. There's criminal mischief and attempted burglary of a dwelling. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $500. Count 2 will be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to return to the scene. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, he doesn't have an immigration
Okay.
He just has to do the bus.
Sir, you have an immigration hold.
Entonces me voy a quedar aquí siempre. ¿O
Then I'm
tengo
gonna
chance para salir?
stay here forever, or is there a chance that I could get out?
Well, it'd be up to ICE on whether they decide to pick you up or not. If they do, then you'll have to deal with them. If they don't, then you already have bond in this case.
Entonces, ¿y esta fianza lo voy a pagar de una vez? ¿Esta fianza lo puedo pagar?
And then, because I have a bond, can I post a bond, and can I do that?
Well, you can post a bond in the case that you're before the court on today. However, you'd have to wait to see on whether ICE is going to pick you up on their hold that they have or not. So even if you post the bond today, you would not be permitted to leave.
No. Ok, una pregunta.
Okay, and then one question.
Yes, sir?
Entonces, ¿cómo puedo hacerlo ahora para que mi familia sepa o para yo hacer una llamada para que ellos sepan también que tengo una fianza de $1,500 y si me voy a quedar así retenido aquí para migración?
Then what can I do now to communicate with my family? Can I make a phone call so that they know that I have a $1,500 bond, and to find out if I'm going to stay here or not, detained by immigration?
Yes, sir, you'll be permitted to do that.
Lo que pasa es que tengo mi hijo y mi hija acá y mi esposa también, y ellas no trabajan y soy el único que trabaja para que ellos coman.
Well, the thing is, I have my son and my daughter and my wife. They're all here, but they're not working. I'm the only one working and providing for them.
I understand, sir. As I said, it'd be up to ICE to determine what they do. I've already dealt with the case that you're before this court on. I've already set a bond in it, so all communications will have to be had with ICE. So if you'll now remove the headset and please go with the officer.
Okay, gracias.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Israel Meléndez Rivera, 27 de noviembre de 1975.
Israel Melendez Rivera, November 27th, 1975.
Thank you, sir. Public defender will be provisionally appointed pending an application. Sir, you've been picked up on 4 charges. There's possession of fentanyl, possession of methadone, possession of alprazolam. Been working on it, guys. Resisting officer without violence. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set as follows. On count 1, $1,000. Count 2, $150. Count 3, $150. Count 4, $500. Sir, you're not to have any alcohol, drugs, weapons, or firearms. Thank you.
Gracias.
Is that it for Spanish or no? Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
William Noé Ruiz Ortiz. Mi fecha de nacimiento es 4 de febrero de 1996.
Wilhelm Noé Ruiz Ortiz, February 4th, 1996.
Thank you, sir. PD will be provisionally appointed pending application. So you've been picked up on a couple of matters. The first is a no valid driver's license. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. And the next matter is resisting officer without violence and providing false ID to law enforcement officer. Again, the court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $500. Count 2 in the amount of $100. Thank you, sir. Oh, sir, you have an ice hold. You might want to bring him back. Sir, I need to inform you that you have an immigration hold. So even if you bond out on these cases, you will not be released pending that hold, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
On the Ferrera case? Does he need the interpreter? We thought she just needed the interpreter. Okay. Madam Interpreter, it's the victim that needs your services today.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
I'm sorry. Oh, Gawa Ferrera.
And your date of birth?
10/14/1987.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Ma'am,
sorry.
state your name, please.
Señora, diga su nombre, por favor.
Ferrera.
Isabel Figuera.
Ms. Ferreira, what would you like the court to consider before moving forward?
Señora, ¿qué desea usted que la jueza considere antes de proceder?
Que ele é um ótimo irmão e foi apenas uma discussão entre nós.
Your
nada
Honor,
demais.
my apologies. I believe the victim is speaking Portuguese.
Okay, I'll try English, okay? He's a great brother, and we were on vacation, and we just discussed brothers fight discussion. We were screened, and the hotel security called the police, but it was only a misunderstanding.
I understand you, yes, ma'am.
Sorry for the English.
No, you're fine. Do you want contact with him?
With my brother?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, of course.
So you're being charged with domestic violence battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond is going to be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any hostile contact with the victim. So if you guys start to feel pressures rising, it's in your best interest to leave, because if police are called again, it'll be a violation of your release conditions and you'll be arrested again. Do you understand?
Yes, okay.
No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir.
No, okay, thank you.
Your Honor, what was the amount of bond?
1,000. I know I said it. I said it. Yesterday I kept not saying it. Is that all for the Spanish?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Interpreter, that's it for the Spanish cases.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
You too, thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Ladarius Dose, 2/21/97.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for dating violence battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with Alexis Williams. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Huh? I was supposed to go yesterday? Yeah. Hey, are you my...
Are we ready, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry about that.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please. Sir, name and date of
James
birth?
Noel,
Date of birth?
3287.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for attempted burglary of a conveyance. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000, and you're not to return to the scene. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Ashley Cheverino, January 13th, 1985.
Thank you, ma'am. PD is approved. Ma'am, you've been picked up on several charges. You have possession of cocaine with a weapon, possession of controlled substance, possession of fentanyl, tampering with physical evidence, possession of cannabis, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Ma'am, you're not to have any contact with the co-defendant, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and bond will be set as follows. On count one, $50,000. Count two, $150. Count three, $150. Count four, $150. Count five, $100. And count six, $100. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, what was the amount on count one?
$50,000.
$50,000.
Huh? Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Christina Coking, 12/17/1980.
Thank you. PD is approved. Ma'am, you've been picked up on two charges. The first is possession of controlled substance. The second is possession of drug paraphernalia. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count one in the amount of $1,000. Count two, $500. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. You've also been picked up as a result of a violation of condition of pretrial release. The bond is set at $5,000 in that matter. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please. Sir, name and date of birth?
Mark Crumpler, June 6, 1998.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up as a result of two failures to appear. There's no bond on those, sir. That's in case 19-77684. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Man, I didn't understand what you said.
Your name and date of birth, please.
Shelton Donald, August 7, 1950.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed.
Ma'am?
I said public defender is appointed.
Okay.
Okay. Sir, you've been picked up for camping in a prohibited area. State, is there an offer in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication, 5 days Orange County Jail, court costs and no return.
How many days have been in? Okay.
Counsel, do you want to speak with him about that? Because that's not a credit time served.
Excuse me?
That's not a credit time served.
Oh, it's not?
actually No, it's actually 2 additional days, unless my math is wrong.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Donald, will you raise your right hand to be sworn, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony shall give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Mr. Donald, did you review the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today?
No, ma'am.
Do you agree to waive your constitutionally protected rights in this case so that the court can accept your plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into the plea, the court, that could mean that you could be deported? I just put them together.
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 5 days in the Orange County Jail with credit time served of 3 days, court costs in the amount of $273, and no return to the scene. You'll need to pay the $273 in 90 days, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. You have 30 days in which to appeal. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
John Lemon, 103072.
Thank you. PD is appointed. Sir, it looks like you've been picked up on driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $2,500. And court won't take any action on 19 CF 13938. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Dustin Salmons, 31284.
What happened to Marrero? Refused. Thank you. And we'll give it one more try tomorrow. Sir, I don't see that I have an application for the public defender for you. Do you want them to represent you in this case?
Yeah, there should have been one already there.
Okay, I don't
Affirmative
have
action.
one, so I'm
I
just
don't know,
confirming.
nobody, I feel that it's not already there, that my rights have been offended. I'm sorry, action
No,
affirmative.
no, sir. That's why I'm asking you to clarify.
Yeah,
If you
I
want-
would, yes, I want an attorney. Well, basically, I remember.
No. I don't
Okay.
want you to
All right,
say
pardon my-
anything.
I'd say something I shouldn't have. All right,
Okay, let's start from the beginning. If I'm talking, you're not.
pardon my.
Second thing, you should not say anything about your case because everything that you say is being recorded and it can be used against you in future proceedings.
That's
So
all.
it's best that you speak with your attorney about the case as opposed to talking about it with me right now, okay? Yes?
It would be.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up for disorderly conduct. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. State, is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication, 5 days, Orange County Jail and court costs.
Counsel, is that something that you need to discuss? It's not a credit time served.
How many days does he have, right?
It would be 3 additional days that he would need to serve.
I'm gonna accept, sorry, I'm trying to think about this. Yeah, I mean, I realize corporate rights don't have much to say against my natural rights, but, you know, just to merely take 3 more days for, you know, the calligraphy of the rest of the mistake of like, to whom it concerns, I'll just have to say, by the book.
Okay, so I can give you 2 options. You can either accept the state's offer, or I can set a bond. Which would you prefer?
Well, what do you mean by a bond?
I'm going to set an amount that would have to be paid in order for you to be released.
Or the state's offer was I can do 3 days and that wipes my slate clean?
Well,
I don't have to, you're saying I won't be charged for a guilty plea or something, or?
you would be pleading guilty.
And the bond would I would, it would up to, I'll just take the guilty plea, ma'am. I'm not gonna sit here and pester with the municipal of my niceties. You know, I feel it's neglect, but I'm gonna accept the guilty plea. Due to, I mean, basically my I'm by the book.
Okay, well, by the book, I'm not going to accept your plea. Bond will be set in the amount of $250.
Why not?
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Which paper is this?
Treason. I'm suing America for treason.
Thank you.
By the book.
Yes. We're calling the language line right now for the interpreter.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. What's his name? Ma'am, do you need the interpreter?
No, I understand English. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I don't think, no, you don't need the headset because, Madam Interpreter, you there? Hello? Hello? Hang up, Judge. She hung on. Let me try calling again.
You have to take off the...
Yeah, take off the
Okay.
top, yeah.
Does this take a second?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Oh. Haitian Creole. clerk at the court proceeding, I need you to turn down. We couldn't hear you. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Okay. Can you hear us now?
Madam Interpreter, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Have you been previously sworn?
No, I just have one question for the clerk. I need the access code.
503014.
503014.
Yes.
Okay?
If you would, please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Okay?
Do you swear affirm to translate from from Haitian Creole to English, for English to Haitian Creole in the testimony given today?
Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Bonsoir, monsieur. Dis nom et date de naissance. Nom c'est Belanda, moi, à interpréter pour vous.
Date de naissance, moi, c'est 28 avril 1952.
April 28, 1952. That's my date of birth.
And your name?
You know?
Oh, Aneste Gabriel.
Aneste Gabriel.
Oui.
PD will be provisionally appointed pending an application. Ma'am, what is your name, please?
My name is Lillian King.
And ma'am, what would you like me to consider before moving forward?
My honor, this is a very uncomfortable situation for me because he's my father-in-law, and we living together. But the situation happened. I was being patient, waiting to see if he can get his green card, like everyone can go away. But now with the situation like physical, with a physical attack, I have 3 girls. They was very worried because I have you can be a big scratch in my neck. They saw everything happened in front of them, and they very scared for now. And the way he was acting to me also, that I don't wanna have contact with him for now. He has other son, but I don't wanna put nothing in him. I know he's my father-in-law. I don't want that situation to come here, but unfortunately we're gonna have to go apart for this moment.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on a domestic violence battery.
Je prends pour domestique violence batterie.
The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause.
L'aime réviser affidavit, moi j'ai une cause probable pour arrêter.
Bond to be set in the amount of $1,500.
Et il y a bon pour $1,500.
You're not to have any contact with the victim, sir.
Vous pas supposé avoir contact avec victime non monsieur.
And you also cannot return to the residence.
Vous pas retourner dans cas tout.
Oui.
You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retain your personal items only.
Vous pouvez retourner une seule fois pour aller prendre bagage avec un officier pour aller prendre bagage ou seulement.
Do you have any questions?
Vous avez une question?
My honor? My honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. I don't know if we can have consideration in the bond because he's not working. He's living with us. He's not doing nothing actually, but my husband and the brother, they have the one who have to pay also for the bond to him. But
He's just not permitted to have any contact with you,
okay,
okay?
okay.
Which also means he cannot come to the home. I ordered that he cannot come to the home, so he would have to go someplace else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No return. And go back one time with law enforcement. Did you say anything about what they said?
No, alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir.
Anything else I can help you with today, Your Honor?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for using our services. You have a great day.
You too. Appearances for the record.
Jennifer Garcia for the state.
Robert Williams with the Office of the Public Defender.
Trial release.
No, we did not have no paperwork for him. She's talking about Grady Williams, so I have an order for her. Oh, no. We didn't have any paperwork, no.
We didn't have any paperwork. The only paperwork we had was on the PTR.
Right. Denise, the girl that was here this morning with me, she's here tomorrow.
Just one moment, Your Honor. They're coming. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and go off to the Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tavares Rogers, 12/01/1994.
Thank you, sir. And Robinson is mental health, right? Robinson is mental health, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna.
PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and domestic violence battery. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $2,500. Count 2 in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Additionally, you've been picked up as a result of violation of probation for out of county. It's from Polk County, and there's no bond on that one, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. State your name and date of birth, please.
Alicia Nana is April 30th, 1978.
PD is appointed. Should have been the first one, counsel. Ma'am, you've been picked up for aggravated battery with deadly weapon, domestic violence. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $5,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim. No contact at all. Do you understand?
Yes.
No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Glendora Stevens, September 13, 1958.
Thank you, ma'am. PD is appointed. Ma'am, you've been picked up for aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic violence. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $2,500. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and no contact with the victims, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Your Honor, for the
you.
record, she does qualify for PTR.
I understand. It's a firearm involved though, so we'll be setting bond. Thank you. Hmm? No, it was Hernandez. So, who is Stephanie? That's the one that we just did. Weaver's next. But you also need to know that Weaver was a reset from yesterday, and he's into the bottom of the stack again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was from yesterday, but then we got this. Weaver does not have an arrow. What is it? He doesn't have an arrow. Weaver is that, this Weaver? Who is that? That's Thomas Francis Clay Weaver. Sorry. My bad. I just knew the name, the last name. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Nicholas Weaver, December 6, 1995.
Thank you, sir. PD is approved. So you've been picked up for aggravated battery, alternative domestic violence. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $2,500. You're not to have any contact with the victim. No return except for one time with law enforcement to retain your personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Okay? Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Nathaniel Williams, November 3rd, 1952.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for battery on person of 65 years of age or older, as well as domestic violence. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $2,500. On count 2 in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim, no telephone, no in-person, no third party, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also not to return to the home. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please. Name and date of birth.
Inocente Alvarenga, 1/12/1970.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for a domestic violence battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim. No in-person, no telephone, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Not to return to the home. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. Also, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Nordia Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Nordia Brian Kelly.
Your date of birth?
September 7, 1988.
Thank you, ma'am. PD is appointed. You've been picked up for a domestic violence battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. I'm sorry? Oh. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm her husband, David Kelly.
Yes, sir. What would you like the court to consider?
Yes, I'm not pressing charges, ma'am.
All right. Well, ultimately, it's up to the state to determine whether charges will actually be pressed or not.
No.
Okay? Anything else you'd like me to consider?
Yes, that's, this is our first offense. It was a big mistake. She's a good lady, and I just hope you guys just consider this. My wife and kids of 2.
Court will do pretrial release. You're to have absolutely no hostile contact, none whatsoever. If police are called again, you're going to be picked up, you're going to be brought back here, and your pretrial release will be revoked. Do you understand? So if you feel tensions starting to raise, you guys need to separate.
Okay.
And don't let anything happen. Understand?
Okay.
I need a verbal, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Saburo Fields,
Date of birth.
January 21st, 1990.
Thank you, sir. So you've been picked up as a result of a violation of pretrial release regarding dating violence.
Yes, ma'am.
PD is appointed. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,500. You're not to have any contact with the victim, no contact whatsoever. Not in person, third party, telephone, social media, nothing. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
No return. And on 2020 CF 687, the court will be revoking and setting a 0 bond. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please. State your name and date of birth, please.
Juan Gonzalez.
Thank you, sir.
Date of birth 6/24/63.
Thank you, sir. Sir, what's your name, please?
Zio Gonzalez.
And Mr. Gonzalez, what would you like me to consider?
I just wanted to say that this is like misunderstanding. This was my fault. I disrespected my father in his house, and which caused him to get slightly out of line. And he was trying to get me out of the house, which I'm no longer in. But he ended up, coming in. This was my fault that he should have been here.
PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for domestic violence, battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. We'll do straight pretrial release with no hostile contact with the victim. If you feel tension starting to rise, even if he's disrespecting you, walk away. Police are called and you're arrested again, your pretrial release will be revoked. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Antonio Harris, 2365.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I don't see that I have a public defender application for you. Did you complete it?
No, ma'am.
No? Are you asking for the public defender to be appointed?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
How much do you earn, please?
$15 an hour, about $600 a week. After taxes is probably my first week, so I haven't seen the paycheck yet.
So after taxes, how much?
I'm gonna say roughly 400.
Okay, do you have any children at home?
No, I don't.
All right, you don't qualify for the public defender. How much? 400, no dependents, yeah. Oh, that's right, they just revised it, didn't they? I'm sorry, my bad. They changed the figures this year, so you do actually qualify. Barely, but you do qualify. You're appointed. You've been picked up for domestic violence, battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim, no return. You can go back one time with law enforcement to retrieve your personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Dimitri Burry,
Date of birth?
3/30/82.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up on 2 counts, domestic violence battery, as well as violation of domestic violence injunction.
You say 2 count?
There is a count of domestic violence battery and a count of violation of domestic violence injunction.
Okay.
So it's 2 counts total. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $1,000. Count due, $100. You have absolutely no contact with the victim. Means no in-person contact, no third-party contact. I'll talk to her in a minute. No social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, what would you like me to consider?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to consider if somehow, some way, Demetrius can get some help. Anger management, he needs a psychological evaluation. He's been putting me and my son through things since he got here last year, March. And I considered allowing him to be around my son just to get to know him. And he hasn't produced none of that. And I don't appreciate being beaten up. I'm not in this one punching bag, nor my child. And I didn't even have to allow him to be around us. And I don't appreciate that he's not doing what he told us he was gonna come here and help us do. And he really he need help, drugs-wise, all that. He is very violent.
You should speak with the advocate at the state attorney's office, because they might be able to assist with that through this case.
Yes, ma'am.
But I have ordered no contact
Yes, ma'am.
whatsoever,
Thank
okay?
you.
And no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good afternoon. Lloyd Rose. Birthday is 03/02/1993.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for domestic violence battery. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim, no return. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms.
For the record, Your Honor, Mr. Rose does qualify for pretrial release.
And the court will be denying that. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Christia Solomon, December 21st, 1996.
Thank you. Ma'am, state your name, please.
Idea Fletcher.
Ms. Fletcher, what would you like the court to consider?
That was a misunderstanding. Sister's fight. I took it to a level that I should never called the authorities on her. I should have took ownership in saying that, you know what, I'm sorry. I should let her use the shampoo. It's really not a big case. I just took it to somewhere, a place I shouldn't go. And I'm sorry, Tia. You're not a bad person. And I love you. I hope you could forgive me.
Ma'am, you've been charged with domestic violence battery. PD is approved. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. You'll be released for straight pretrial release. There's be absolutely no hostile contact. If you start getting aggravated with your sister, walk away, leave, do whatever you need to do, but don't engage, because if you engage and police are called, you'll end up back here and your pretrial release will be revoked. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
First name?
Your name and date of birth.
Okay. Ludwig Johann von Limburg, 4/30/1987.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, what's your name, please?
R.L. von Leinberg.
And what would you like me to consider, ma'am?
This type of situation has happened a few different times, and I haven't written a report until now. And I feel like he needs counseling and help. I think in the future I will continue filing reports and calling the cops versus letting him get away with things and letting things escalate. But it's hard to do this. So.
I understand. PD, you've been appointed? Sir, you're here for domestic violence battery. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim. No in-person contact, no third-party contact, no telephone contact, no social media contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
No return. You can go back one time with law enforcement to obtain your personal items only. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Alisa Bass, January 16, 1993.
Thank you. Ma'am, you're here as a result of a violation of condition of pretrial release in 2019 CF 3100. There's no bond. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Akeem Milton Black, January 22nd, 1997, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for fleeing and eluding law enforcement with sirens and lights activated. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. Not going to take any action on the CF case. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please. Yeah.
Sorry. My name is Skyly Castillo, 11/13/1998.
Thank you. PD is appointed. Ma'am, you've been picked up for theft by employee. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. You're not to return to the scene. Bond to be set in the amount of $2,500. And on 19 CF 4294, court will be revoking and setting at 0. Thank you.
I do.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Crystal Orsay, 06/24/1998.
Thank you, sir. So you've been picked up as a result of violation of conditional release. PD is appointed. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim and no return to the scene. Absolutely no return. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure you follow it this time.
Correction. This is, he violated conditional release, but it got the old case number on it, and it's 3 counts. Do we supposed to get a new case number? No. Right, and so we have, burglar occupied trespass after dwelling in a battery. But you only gonna set just one bond for how much was it, Judge? It was confusing, because when we put it up in our system, we showed 3 counts
Burglary of occupied dwelling,
on this case number here.
trespass in dwelling, and battery violation of conditional release.
They say he's violating the conditional release in this old case. So you just give him one bond, but when we pull it up, it comes up with 3 counts. So I just wanted to show him the bond copies on one.
Yeah, just put it on the first one.
Okay, and it was,
It was 1,000.
okay,
If you have to do one on the other two, just do 150 on each of them.
okay. Correction? So we can, $1,000 bond is good for just 1 count, or do you need some bonds on all 3 counts? Just the 1 count? Okay.
I think so.
One
I'll
thou-
double check.
I'm gonna do it as 1,000 1 count.
I'll let you know if it needs to be something for you today.
Okay, thank you.
I'll follow up on that.
I'm gonna say this.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Rosario Chalmers, 52780.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. You've been picked up for aggravated assault with a firearm. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there is sufficient probable cause.
Your Honor, may I ask that the court be notified that the supposed victim, I have an open case against them for aggravated assault with a firearm, aggravated battery with a firearm, and battery also. So the other co-defendant to the, I don't know how to explain it, but the girl that had me arrested, I have an open case against her and her boyfriend, which I am supposed to appear in court next month on the 14th. And this is a used tactic to try to keep me from going to court.
Well, ultimately, that can get situated out in court, but for today's purposes, the affidavit that I've reviewed indicate that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $2,500. You're not to have any contact with the victim, no return, and no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Okay?
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Kenneth Earl Dent, 52766, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up as a result of 2 failures to appear. The warrant has no bond on it, so you'll be scheduled to see your trial judge.
Okay, who's the judge on this, ma'am? Because I never received that letter in the mail. I went to court when they set the court dates that day, but I never received another letter in the mail, and I've been at that address for a whole year.
It's Judge Adams, so
Judge
you'll be
Adams?
talking to her.
Gail Adams?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Eric Diaz, 4/6/1985.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on 2 charges. There's driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions and resisting officer without violence. PD is appointed. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $2,500, count 1 in the amount of $100, and the court will not be taking action on the MM case. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Eric Garcia Ayala, date of birth February 10th, 1993.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up on 4 charges.
Correct.
Possession of cocaine, possession of meth, possession of controlled substance. There's 2 counts on that. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $1,000, count 2, $150, count 3, $150, count 4, $150. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Twan Anthony Hodge, 5/20/76.
$75.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. You've been picked up for possession of methamphetamine. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And the court will not be taking any action on the CF case. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Howard, 07/12/1998.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for third-degree grand theft. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and you're not to return to the target.
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Deborah Cloning, 7/14/66.
Thank you, ma'am. PD is appointed. Ma'am, you've been picked up for several counts. We've got possession of fentanyl, possession of controlled substance, sale and possession and manufacturing altering prescription, destruction of evidence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Count 1, bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. Count 2, bond will be set in the amount of $250. Count 3 in the amount of $150. Count 4 in the amount of $150. Count 5 in the amount of $100. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Court will be revoking the pretrial release in 19 CF 16552 with 0 bond.
Your Honor, Ms. Klein asked if you take no action on her auto and bond case, 2019 CF 16552 AO.
The court denies that request given the nature of the charges and what she was charged with under that CF case.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Come on up. State your name and date of birth, please.
Isaiah Pena, January 3rd, 2002.
What happened to Mr. Manuel?
What's the
827. He bonded? Okay, thank you. So for Mr. Pena, PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for grand theft of motor vehicle with a mask. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
if I can interject, according to in the arrest affidavit, there was no mask. It was just mention of a hoodie. I don't know if there is a different statutory number that it should be under, but there's no mention of Mr. Pena ever wearing a mask. It just says a hoodie. I don't know the difference, how it's distinguished under our statutes, but I would ask the court to We can see if this is the right statute that it should be charged under. You're right. Yeah, I wrote that down too. I wrote it down. But you still have a whole file still. Yeah, we just want to get this. That's the right statute that you should be charged under.
Council 812.014 is correct. Just don't know about the 2C6 part. I'm not seeing anything in here, honestly, about a hoodie or about a mask under 014.
Right.
So I think under 014 is an accurate charge. Just not the subs. State,
yeah.
do you have a response?
Your Honor, based on the report, it says that there is a supplemental report from Deputy Bixler. I would ask for 24 hours to clarify that, just in case if I can get more information on the supplemental report. I looked in the system and I don't see the supplemental report, so I would have to request it.
All right, the court will grant the request for a 24-hour reset. Yeah, the bond will end up staying. But at this point, I can't find probable cause until after the reset. We need to wait and see how that flushes out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Osvaldo Alexander Cornones, 12/26/98.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond is going to be set in the amount of $1,000, and you're not to return to the scene. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Armando Reto Garcia, 11379.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. The court has reviewed the arrest warrant as well as the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,500, and you're not to return to the Home Depot. Thank you, sir.
I got 150. What you put up there? I got 150. You might bond. She can put it down, please. You can ask her for 500.
Your Honor, would the court consider reducing the bond to $500?
No, the request to be denied. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Gregory Sharps, 12/27/1990.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you've been picked up on 2 felony warrants for failure to appear in 16 CF 16026, and there's no bond on those. Thank you. Thank you. I was going to confirm that with you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Tashalu, 3/21/90.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for 3 charges. There's possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of cannabis. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that it's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set as follows. On count 1, $1,000. Count 2, $100. Count 3, $100. You're not to have any alcohol, drugs, weapons, or firearms, okay? Thank you, sir.
Matthew Coleman is hospital.
He's in the hospital. You know what, you can actually just go ahead and waive it. It's a failure to appear warrant. It's already got a bond of $2,000 on it. There's no reason to reset it. Okay.
I don't know if they heard you.
Counsel, did you hear me on that one?
No.
No? Okay, on Matthew Coleman, it's a failure to appear. There's already a bond of $2,000 set on that, so there's really no reason to reset him. If he bonds out, he bonds out.
Okay, you'll find that out.
Thank you. Sir, state your name and date of birth, please.
5987, Kenny Sanchez.
Thank you, sir. Sir, were you asking for the public defender to be appointed?
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Are you asking for the public defender's office to be appointed in this case?
Correct.
Are you employed?
Yeah.
How much do you earn?
Right now I'm making like $600-700 a week.
Is that take home? Is that before taxes or after taxes?
They pay me cash too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any children at home?
No.
You don't qualify for the public defender then based on that income. You've been picked up on 3 failures to appear in 2014, 120512. The bond on, oh, he already has a PD in this case?
Yes, this is Mr. Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I looked it up.
All right, I don't know how he qualifies, but okay. They can deal with that. He doesn't qualify today. How about we do a provisional appointment pending a proper application and proof of income?
So the PD.
Come on back. Come on back, Mr. Williams. Sir, next time you come to court, you'll need to bring proof of income with you so that the trial judge can review it, okay?
Okay.
In any event, you've been picked up for failure to appear in 2014, 120512. There is bond of $2,000 set for each charge. So there's 3 charges, total of $6,000, okay? Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I have to give him, Mr. Williams.
Yes.
His case has remained in Division 84, his pretrial date. It's March the 5th at 8:45, courtroom 4B. But it'll be on his order, but still.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Joshua Gamboa, 13101.
Mr. Gamboa, you've been picked up for failure to appear in 2017 CT 1480. The bond on that is set at $2,500. And the PD is appointed. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Juanita Hosley, August 17, 1999.
Ma'am, are you asking for the public defender to be appointed?
I don't think I need one, really.
Okay. You've been picked up for driving with suspended or revoked license. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marcus Johnson, bonded.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Clifford Moe, 8/15/66.
What, the other guy bonded? Oh, yeah, bonded.
Yes.
We just forgot what you said.
Sorry.
What was the last name again? Last.
Moe, MEAUX.
Oh.
Yeah.
PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for driving while under the influence with a blood alcohol level of 0.15 or higher. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Additionally, there is a probation violation out of Seminole County. It's no bond, sir. I have Brett Anderson next. Oh, good. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Yeah, my name is Brett Neil Anderson, 72270.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for resisting officer without violence and retail petty theft. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on the resisting officer without violence in the amount of $500. The retail petty theft in the amount of $100. You're not to return to the Ace Hardware.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Verley Jonathan Bennett, 7782.
Thank you, sir. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up on trespass on property after a warning. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there is sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and you're not to return to the Maxwell Trace Apartments. Okay? Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Sean A. Hampton. Oh, Sean A. Hampton, 3472.
Thank you, ma'am. PD is appointed. Ma'am, you've been picked up for trespass in occupied structure with a refusal to leave. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and you're not to return to the Coalition for the Homeless. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please,
May 23rd, 1997.
and your name.
Lorenzo Hopper.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hopper, are you asking for the public defender to be appointed?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have an application yet, so you'll need to make sure that you fill that out, but I'll provisionally appoint them for these purposes. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit for resisting officer without violence. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Adrian Hulse, 41171.
Thank you, sir. Public defender is appointed. Been picked up for trespass on property after a warning. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and you're not to return to the 7-Eleven. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
I can't go over?
No. You can't go back to the 7-Eleven. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Thomas Matt, 08-2792.
Thank you. PD is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for petty theft with prior theft conviction. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. You're not to return to the 7-Eleven, and the court will be revoking the ROR in 19 MM 10262 and setting a bond for $500. Yeah. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Melanie Moe, March 17th, 1978.
Thank you, ma'am. PD is appointed. Ma'am, you've been picked up for a battery. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. You're not to have any contact with the victim. If you still have personal items at the home, you can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve your personal items. Otherwise, you cannot return there, okay? Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Donald Rittenpaw, February 3rd, 1983.
Thank you, sir.
You're
PD is
welcome.
appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for trespass on property after a warning. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. You're not to return to the scene, and the court will not take action on the CF case. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Christopher Lewis, 4988.
Sir, you've been picked up on 2 out-of-county warrants from Brevard County in 2017 CF 16564. There's no bond on there. They'll be notified that you're here so that they can pick you up, okay? Thank you, sir. You are not Gary. He's in mental health still? Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Nicole Blankenship, April 30th, 1984.
Thank you. PD is appointed. Alicia Nana. Ma'am, you've been picked up for fraud, impersonating, misrepresenting self, as well as uttering a forged check. The court has reviewed the arrest affidavit and the arrest warrant. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $1,500, count 2 in the amount of $150. Thank you. Oh, and no contact with the victim.
Melissa Fisher reduced.
We'll give her one more shot. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Thomas Weaver, March 6, 1986.
Sir, are you asking for the public defender to be appointed?
Yes.
Are you employed?
Yes.
How much do you earn per week?
Per week. I don't, bi-weekly, I know that.
Okay, what's biweekly?
About 900.
All right, based on that income, the court will provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you in this matter. You've been picked up for a domestic violence battery. State, did you get the supplement on this?
Yes, Your Honor. May I approach?
Yes, please. Thank you. The court has reviewed the supplement. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. No contact with the victim. No return to the home. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms.
For the record, Your Honor, Mr. Weaver does qualify for pretrial release.
Pretrial release will be denied. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Christopher Lee, 12/21/68.
Mr. Lee, you've been picked up for camping in a prohibited area as well as state misdemeanors. State, do you have an offer on the two charges?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication, 5 days, Orange County Jail and court costs.
Is that a credit time served offer?
No, that would be an additional 3 days. Sir, is that something you'd like to consider to settle the matter today? Ultimately, you would have to serve an additional 3 days if you take the state's offer. Otherwise, we can set bond in the matters.
Would a court consider a credit time served offer, Your Honor?
No, sir.
Your Honor, Mr. Lee will accept the state's offer.
All right, if you can provide him the plea form, please. Mr. Lee, will you raise your right hand to be sworn, please?
You swear affirm the testimony shall give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. They just put a plea form in front of you. If you would, please just take a minute to read through it and then sign down at the bottom. When you're ready, you can look up at me, okay? Sir, did you read it? Did you understand it? Do you need any additional time to speak with your attorney? Okay, I need verbal responses,
No.
please. Thank you.
Fine.
Do you agree to waive your constitutionally protected rights in this case in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer?
No.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes.
Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there is sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 5 days in Orange County Jail with credit time served of 2 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. Sir, you'll need to have that paid within 90 days, okay?
Yes.
Yes, concurrent. Do you have any questions? You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Larry Smith, Jr.
Mr. Smith, you've been picked up for having an open container of alcoholic beverages and state misdemeanors. State, is there an offer in these matters?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication, credit time served, and court cost.
Sir, the state's offering adjudication and credit time served as well as court costs. Would you like to accept that offer to settle this matter today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, they're going to provide you a plea form. If you would, please read it and then sign it down at the bottom when you're finished. While the attorney's working on his part, will you please raise your right hand to be sworn?
Do you swear affirm the testimony shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Yes, Daryl Smith. Larry Smith, I'm sorry. I'm going to change his name, but his last name's Smith. Provisionally, how about that? We'll just make it easy. There's no odd. Sir, did you review the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need any additional time to speak with the attorney?
No, sir. Yes, ma'am.
That's all right. I get called sir all the time.
Okay.
Is anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer?
No, ma'am.
Do you agree to waive your constitutionally protected rights in this case in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes.
Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit time served of 2 days, and court costs in the amount of $273. You'll need to have that paid within 90 days. Do you have any questions? You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Richard Tomlin II, November 13th, 1980.
Thank you. PD would be provisionally appointed. Sir, you've been picked up for an open alcoholic beverage container and state misdemeanors. State, do you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication, credit time served, and court cost.
Sir, the state's offer to settle this case today is an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court costs. Is that something you'd like to consider to settle the matter today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, they're going to provide you a plea form. If you would, go ahead and raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you swear affirm the testimony shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. When the attorney's done with his part of it, if you would please take a few moments to read over the plea form, sign down at the bottom, and then look up at me when you're ready, okay? Sir, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need any additional time to speak with the attorney?
No, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today? Do you agree to waive your constitutionally protected rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit time served of 2 days, and court costs the amount of $273. That'll be payable within 90 days. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You don't have anyone else back there, do you? Court will be in recess till tomorrow morning, afternoon.